Great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Advanced Water Heating Initiative Residential Working Group call. Today's August 13th, 2024. I'm Joe Jutras from New Buildings Institute, here as always. Great to have you with us to talk all things water heating. So let's kick it off, as usual, with our antitrust compliance statement, the most exciting moment of your day. The Advanced Water Heating Initiative is a member-supported collaborative of professionals from across the U.S. This diverse membership includes numerous competitors, and care must be taken to scrupulously abide by federal and state antitrust laws. Members should remember that antitrust compliance is important at all times. At this and other AWHI meetings, participants should not discuss competitive pricing, profitability, allocating markets or customers, or promotion of a particular product or accessory. All right. So here is the look at our agenda today. We'll be first hearing from Ameren and hearing about their innovative heat pump water heater program. Then we're going to be looking at the from Eli and their contractor incentive finder tool, and finally turning over to Nate Jutras from Energy Star to hear about their market acceleration guide. My times are a little bit out of order there, but excited to have all of our presenters on. And as we do usually with their AWHI residential working group meeting, we invite new participants to come on mic and say who they are and who their organization is. And we also invite anyone who has any quick announcements they'd like to get before the group to come on mic. So I'll stop talking, let folks introduce themselves or tell us about their quick announcements. Anyone new to AWHI's residential working group today?
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. My name is Brian Zimmerman. I'm with Anaheim Public Utilities.
Just get this.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Welcome. Any other folks here for the first time or have an announcement they'd want to share?
This is Jennifer Venema from the Sacramento Municipal Utility District. Hi, everyone. First time in this working group meeting.
Great. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hey, I'm first timer also, Rob Aldrich with Stephen Winter Associates.
Great. Welcome,
Thank
Rob.
Hi, I'm a first timer as well. Damon Gill from Enbridge Gas, located in Ontario, Canada. We're a gas utility, but we also offer incentives for electric heat pump water heaters, and I've done a couple of field pilots as well. So interested to hear what other folks have to say about this technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Damon. Great to connect with you, and we'll want to talk with you further. I'll put my email in the chat. Would love to. We've profiled Vermont Gas Systems in Vermont, of course, doing their interesting work with heat pump water heaters. So love to hear what you all are up to.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Any other folks new or with announcements?
I'm so sorry. I had some connectivity issues, but I'm also new here. My name is Nicole Renza, and I'm with Techniart. So we do work in the energy efficiency space with utilities and have a lot of heat pump water heater initiatives coming up over the course of the next year.
Awesome. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, welcome everyone to our monthly residential working group meeting. If you didn't get a chance to come on mic, we'd love to hear your name and organization. Please put that in the chat. And let's move on with our meeting today. A couple quick announcements from AWHI's end before turning it over to our spotlight speakers. Of course, we've been chatting about this for a couple months now, but mark your calendars. Big day, Heat Pump Water Heater Day, October 23rd. We have our program almost largely completed, so go ahead and you can click on the link on the bottom, see the program. Also, a big thanks to our sponsors. LG and Nile have come in as sponsors in the last month, so really appreciate folks helping to fund this day where we can all celebrate the transformation of heat pump water heaters to decarbonize water heating. So hope to see you in 2 months at Heat Pump Water Heater Day. Another quick plug, a plug for folks to mute themselves. We're getting a little background noise. And then also a plug for our AWHI YouTube channel. A couple of the latest videos are there, hyperlinked. We did a great webinar on heat pumps for pools and spas with some manufacturers there, and also did a spotlight with IntelliHot and our commercial working group. So lots of great videos on there. Be sure to check out those and others. And Speaking of webinars and roundtables, we have a great roundtable we're excited about in September coming up. Industrial heat pumps, a manufacturer's roundtable to decarbonize industrial processes with heat pumps. So check that out. It's going to be September 11th, 2024, and that link should carry you to the registration page. I'll give folks a second to click on that if you're interested. And I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Susan Grant-Harris from NBI, to talk to us about some exciting Excellence in Water Heating Awards that are going to be part of Heat Pump Water Heater Day. Susan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Harris. I'm a Senior Communications Advisor for New Buildings Institute, and I support efforts for the Advanced Water Heating Initiative. I'm here to announce our new Excellence in Advanced Water Heating Award program. We're accepting nominations in 5 categories, and we're requesting your nominations before October 1st. We'll be giving recognition to a commercial heat pump water heater manufacturer or team, a residential heat pump water heater manufacturer or program for a heat pump water heater product release or innovative strategy, an installer of commercial or residential heat pump water heaters for their commitment to heat pump water heater technology, a builder who excels in residential or multifamily heat pump water heater installations and new construction, and an individual or organization that has conducted groundbreaking research into improved heat pump water heater technology, or created a program or marketing effort that expands heat pump water heater adoption in innovative and equitable ways. Winners will be given the opportunity to receive an award in an online event on Heat Pump Water Heater Day on October 23rd, a Best in Class for Water Heating designation from AWHI that includes a graphic that can be used on your social media platforms or website, and be featured in an article or a blog on the AWHI website, and an opportunity to present during an online AWHI working group meeting. I'll share a link in the chat, and there's also a link on this slide here. Please visit the webpage to learn more about the program and submit your nomination by October 1st on our website. The nomination form is very brief, shouldn't take much time, and we hope we hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll also put my email address in the chat.
Thanks so much, Susan. I am so excited about this Excellence in Water Heating Awards. We have such stars that we want to honor and celebrate and get the word out about. Take a minute, please nominate folks. You see the link right there. Lots of nominations. We want to honor your great work. So thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. Okay. Oh, sorry. One more quick plug before turning it over to our spotlight speakers. I'd love to turn it over to my colleague Vidisha. If Vidisha's on the line to talk to us about our equity working group and put out a plug for more members.
Thank you so much, Joe. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are having a great Tuesday. I'm Vidisha. I am a project analyst with the Building Innovations team. And just like you all, I'm also honored to be associated with the Advanced Water Heating Initiative. With your support and collaboration, we have been strongly moving forward with the mission and the initiatives and have a strong network of residential, commercial, and connectivity working groups. And we would like to move forward with yet another working group in the equity space. As we keep talking about building decarbonization, energy efficiency, water heating initiatives, we just want to make sure that it is available and accessible to one and all communities alike. And this has been one of our stepping stone discussion point ever since this group was created at the start of the year. We did come out with an equity white paper, and we would like to now go forward with brainstorming new ideas, concepts, research areas, and create action items for future work. And we would appreciate your support. So if this is something of your interest, or if you know someone who would be a right fit for the group, or if you have any suggestions to share, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to connect with you all. I have my contact information up on the slide. I'll be putting that in the chat box as well for your reference. And just for information, we do have our upcoming meeting on the 28th August. So if you'd like to know what the discussion is all about in the equity space, please do join us for the meeting on 28th August. That will be all from my side. I just wish you all a very productive discussion in the meeting today. Thank you so much for your attention and patience. Over to you, Joe.
Thanks so much, Vidisha. Appreciate it. Yes, a +1, please. If you're interested in working this space, we want to hear from you. Email Vidisha and join our equity working group. Great. All right. Well, without any other announcements from AWHI, let's turn it over to our spotlight speakers for today. We're going to kick it off with Ameren's innovative heat pump water heater program. I'd love to welcome Tammy and Selena from Brio and Tammy from Ameren to talk to us about this really great innovative program, and go ahead and you can take control of the screen.
Well, now I can't find the take control button anymore, Joe.
Do you see it at the top? Otherwise, I can drive your slides. No problem.
Wait, here it is. Here it is. I think. Yes.
Yep,
I found it. I have control. Thank you so much. So like Joe said, I'm Selena Bell-Heise from Brio, and we support Ameren and Leidos with the strategy for Ameren's midstream HVAC program, which includes heat pump water heaters. So I'm excited to share some of Ameren's recent heat pump water heater promotional efforts. And while I'll be presenting on our work today, Tammy Jackson from Ameren and Tucker Bloom from Leidos are on the call too. All of us worked really closely with developing and implementing these promotions. So I guess they can keep me honest and lend a hand when you guys start peppering us with questions. So to dive in 2023, Ameren set out to launch some heat pump water heater promotional efforts in partnership with the market. We established the objectives that you see here on your screen. You know, we really wanted to focus on educating contractors about heat pump water heaters, while at the same time we wanted to generate customer awareness and demand so that contractors can get some experience with the technology. And we wanted to drive Ameren customers directly to the contractors that, you know, at least knew what heat pump water heaters are and that were educated on the technology. There we go. Is it advancing on your end?
Yeah, it looks great.
Great, thanks. So to achieve our objectives, we really wanted to partner with manufacturers and distributors so we could leverage their networks and communication channels to reach more contractors and installers. So we started by reaching out to Energy Star Manufacturer Action Council, who, as most of you probably know, represent Energy Star and the leading manufacturers, and they've been partnering with programs across the country to deliver heat pump water heater trainings and education to installers. So we thought they'd be ripe for collaboration on this effort and to help us achieve our goals, and they were on board. So they agreed to engage with us on the design, to support distributors with recruitment of contractors, and to provide input on our marketing approach as well as our assets, and committed to developing and delivering, the training in partnership with Ameren. And Ameren committed to developing contractor and customer marketing assets, to providing targeted customer outreach where they would drive customers to the Energy Star Installer Finder, and to provide access to Ameren call center representatives for customers. So once we kind of had this general concept of what we were going to do solidified, we, got to work. Started recruiting, and to recruit contractors to attend the online trainings, we leveraged both the Ameren program and the distributor communication channels to, spread the word. The recruitment assets that we used were an installer training announcement that manufacturers and the program provided their distributors to let them know what was happening and when, and to ask them for their help to help us recruit installers to attend the training. We also had Ameren's distributor account management team hand deliver printed installer recruitment flyers to the distributors so that they could display those at their counters and encourage contractors to take one and to register for the training. And we essentially repurposed the content from the flyer to serve as a email installer webinar invitation for the program and for the distributors to send to contractors. And the flyer and the invitation drove contractors to sign up for the training at a online registration page. And then the image over there to your right is a small kind of image of the recruitment flyer that that we used for this. And then for delivering the training, Ameren and the Energy Star Manufacturer Action Council delivered the training. And here you'll see like our high level agenda. Essentially, the training focused on giving an overview of Ameren's program components and the upcoming promotional activities and support that Ameren would be providing. Also, doing an overview and sharing of the support that Energy Star provides, reviewing the history of heat pump water heaters. And this was something that was brand agnostic. And then we had about, I think there were 5 manufacturers that did manufacturer specific product training that was specific, to their brand. And then finally, we ended with the next steps where we shared with the contractors how they could get on the installer finder, details about all of the marketing activities that would be upcoming from Ameren, and the associated timelines of when they could expect those to hit the market. And to reach customers, Ameren provided contractors with marketing toolkits as well, which included customizable flyers and postcards, copy for social media posts, information about incentives that were offered from the Ameren program. That way contractors would have the information and materials that they needed to drive their own marketing, sales, and customer education. And that messaging was aligned with the promotion and the program, and customers were getting that consistent messaging. And then Ameren used their marketing channels to distribute direct mail, letters, and emails to Ameren customers. And the call to action on those materials, the messaging in the materials really focused on calling out the available incentives and the tax credits. And then the primary call to action on the materials drove customers to a heat pump water heater promotion landing page on the Ameren website, which highlighted the values and the benefits of heat pump water heaters, and then linked out to the Energy Star installer finder, which you see pictured here on your screen. And then the secondary call to action was the call center phone number, where Ameren's customer service representatives were educated on, the promotion that we were doing, and equipped with an FAQ that we developed for them to help customers understand the promotion and to help them navigate to the installer finder. And then last but not least are our results so far. We have done 3 trainings. 2 of those were in 2023, and 1 was at the end of June this year. So far, we've educated 46 contractor companies. 11 of those have been added to the Energy Star installer finder. And I think a few contractors that participated were already listed. And then the ones from the 2024 training have not yet provided all the permissions for us to add them to the finder yet. Prior to launching the trainings in 2023, the program had incentivized 34 units. But after the trainings, the installs more than tripled to 110 incented heat pump water heater units. And then for the marketing results, in 2023, Ameren distributed over 38,000 customer emails, which resulted in a little more than 12,000 opens, and also distributed 81,000 direct mail letters. Those efforts drove 500 website landing page visits. And then just this month, the beginning of August, the 2024 materials were distributed with over 39,000 emails and 76,000 direct mail letters, but those results aren't yet in. And while the numbers from 2023 may seem a little low overall, it's a substantial increase, from the units prior to the promotion. And we've had several contractors that have provided feedback to the program that they have seen some leads increase and calls for heat pump water heaters. And there was one specific contractor that in 2023 let us know that they weren't originally going to attend the training, decided to go, got several calls, and actually had added staff to focus solely on heat pump water heaters. So we're moving the needle a little bit further, with each step. And at this point in the year, Ameren has already exceeded their goal for the year, but they're eager to continue to support developing the market and providing incentives on heat pump water heaters. So that's a little bit about the Ameren promotion, and I guess we'll open it up for folks to ask questions.
Thanks so much, Selena. Really appreciate that. Really excited about this program, how much contractor participation you've had. Folks, if you want to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand or put your question in the chat. That would be great. While folks are getting, I was writing down lots of questions that were coming up on my mind. But did you hear from contractors that the online training was enough? Did anyone express any desire to have some hands-on in-person trainings, or were they pretty satisfied with the online trainings?
My understanding is that they were satisfied with the online trainings. I think that, where their available budget to couple it. I know Energy Star Manufacturer Action Council oftentimes will follow this type of online training up with an in-person training and provide folks the opportunity to earn a free heat pump water heater that programs can provide. That can be a little bit spendy and wasn't necessarily in the cards, but I did want to throw that out there for other people to know. If you have that type of budget, it seems like that could be a successful approach. But, one thing I have heard several times is that if there's demand, contractors are smart. They'll figure out how to get the training they need.
Yeah, great point. Yeah. Quick question from Eric. What was the increase in incentivized heat pump water heaters from years past? Are you looking for just the number jump, Eric, or the amount of incentive increased? The dollar amount that increased, or I guess if you have both information, it gives you the information, Selena. So what was it? How much were they incented before, and then how many units were sold? You showed it a little bit different. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, just seeing what the difference was from one year to the next. Like, what was your, overall success, percentage rate wise?
Sure. So I might have to lean on Tammy or Tucker for the numbers from last year, but I will say that the incentive has continued to come down. In 2024, it is $1,150, and in 2023, it was $1,300. And Tammy, do you happen to have the numbers offhand from total performance from last year for 2022, 2023, and 2023?
I'm trying to pull that up right now. I should be able to get that for you, though, in just a moment.
Thanks, Tammy. That's great. And I guess while you're doing that, Chris is wondering what approach did you find most effective in promoting heat pump water heaters between the mailers and the online mailers, the paper mailers? What do you know? Do you have any sense on what was most effective?
Well, it's kind of, I think that the emails, resulted in 12,000 opens. Don't know how many of those emails were part of driving the 500 website landing page visits, right? Versus the direct mail, because we just have the standard landing page was 500 visits. So I can't really say for sure. One thing that a lot of utilities have told me in the past is that people do open letters that are paper from their utility. And in past promotions, where it hasn't necessarily been coupled with an email promotion, I have seen those be effective. But I feel like you kind of have to make some leaps around what drove the 500 website landing page visits. Was it the emails or direct mail? And I don't have exact statistics on that.
Sounds good. Tammy, did you want to turn it back over to you if you have any numbers to share?
I show we ended last year, if my numbers are right, at 144 heat pump hot water heaters.
Rebated. Okay. Great. Thanks for that. It seemed like we did see that jump in the second half of the year after the promotions, the threefold jump. Okay. Thanks for that. Chris Mellon's asking, did the online training include site installation requirements? Is that clear enough of a question for you, Selena? Should we ask Chris to explain a little bit more what he's asking about?
Yeah, that would be good.
Chris, yeah, what do you mean by including the site installation requirements? Like, could you expand on that question? Chris Mellon? If you're able to come off mute or raise your hand, that'd be great. Give us a little more details on what your specific requirements. Yeah. I'm still not grasping that, Chris, so I think you'd want to come on and ask your question if you're able to. So Nick is wondering, what are some of the biggest hurdles, myths, or things that Ameren found with either contractors or customers? Selena, did you?
What was that? I'm sorry. What were some of the hurdles?
What were some of the biggest hurdles, myths, or things Ameren found with either contractors or customers? What did you have to?
I think I can answer part of this, Selena. So the biggest hurdle we found initially was actually getting contractors to want to install heat pump hot water heaters, because it wasn't a measure that they trusted, since it's not a measure that they've done before. And it took a while to get contractors to be willing to learn how, heat pump hot water heaters and the benefits of installing them. And as more plumbers are installing the measures, then we're seeing even more contractors wanting to learn. So it was just overcoming the fear of the unknown for these contractors.
Great, thanks for that, Tammy. Question I had, was there any, this is a really generous rebate from Ameren. Is there any low-income focused program that Ameren has developed as of yet that would kind of eliminate upfront costs? It seems like you all have reduced it substantially, but any thoughts on a low-income program for heat pump water heaters?
Yeah, go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
No.
Selena.
You go for it.
So I do know, like we have looked at heat pump hot water heaters for like the low income multifamily programs. However, at this time, the technology is not compatible with the type of apartment complexes that we see. But in the future, yes, I foresee, having heat pump hot water heaters as part of the multifamily low income, and probably I would say it will move to the single family.
Perfect.
Oh.
That sounds great. Maybe as a final question, do you hear back from contractors? I mean, you mentioned that they had they've seen some leads increasing. Have you seen satisfaction with their participation in the program? Do you expect more? I mean, 40 plus contractors is a lot of contractors to have in this program. Do you expect more and active participation with this from your feedback from contractors so far?
Yes, I foresee that we'll see an increased participation with heat pump hot water heaters as more and more contractors are getting trained. And since it's through the midstream program and it's really easy to participate, it's just getting those distributors that, sell heat pump hot water heaters to participate in the midstream program and to promote it. So we'll start seeing the numbers go up.
Cool. Great. Well, thank you. Thanks, Tammy. Thanks, Selena. Really appreciate you talking to us about this really innovative program and the amount of participation you've gotten from contractors. Keep us posted on how this goes with the second round in 2024. And thanks for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Fantastic. Great. Well, that's kind of part of our series. We'd like to do spotlights on programs that are doing interesting heat pump water heater incentives and trainings. And so we heard a little bit from Ameren. We also turn the spotlight on manufacturers with new products. Now I'd love to turn it over to our friends at AWHI, who have a new, while we're talking about contractors, a new contractor incentive finder, trying to make it easier for contractors to understand the incentive. So yeah, we've got Jeff Coleman and Lauren Fraser from AWHI, and great to have you both on, and thanks for being here. So I see you've taken control of the screen. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm in control. Thanks, Joe, and thanks for having us. Yeah, I'm Jeff Coleman. I'm the CEO at AWHI. I am coming to you from Sacramento, California, where I've been enjoying plentiful hot water for 2.5 years, provided by a heat pump hot water heater installed with generous incentives from SMUD. So shout out to the SMUD person on the call who chimed in earlier. So I'm going to jump right in. So AWHI is a technology company with a mission to make electrification affordable for everyone and profitable for installers. We are, backed by some of the biggest investors in sort of the climate technology space. We are the founding organization of a nonprofit coalition called the Node Collective, which includes Rewiring America, the Building Decarbonization Coalition, Rocky Mountain Institute, or RMI, and the NC Clean Energy Center, among others. And that is a sort of effort to normalize and turn data around incentives and rebates into a public good. And our team here at Eli, we've got our leadership team here on the slide. We're sort of a mix of folks who come from the incentive and program administration world, like myself, with a decade or so of experience, particularly running low and moderate income incentive programs, as well as sort of the technical leaders from a wider range of fintech companies, companies doing billions of dollars in loans and things like that. So we're trying to bring some of the sort of latest and greatest tech to this space as we are looking at expanding access to these incentives all over the US. So what Eli is a multi-sided technology platform. On one side, we help incentive providers and lenders digitize some of the more burdensome parts of managing these programs, such as income qualification, for example. For installers, we sort of de-risk participating in incentive programs by eliminating a ton of the admin work, pre-qualifying customers up front so that they can know that they're going to be able to afford the project from the first step. And then for homeowners, making it a lot easier to understand and access incentives and financing for home electrification and making the right choice the easy one. So I'm going to just focus today on what we do with installers. Kind of the big value adds for installers of our platform are helping them target leads that are likely to be qualified for incentives. The second is to just close more on bigger projects by maximizing rebate potential or incentive potential, saving a bunch of time and money on that pesky admin work, and then importantly, getting paid as soon as possible. So we do factoring or short-term financing of rebates to get contractors paid at the point of sale as much as possible. So I wanted to highlight today, given the audience here, how we work with OEMs. So this could also be a utility or any other organization that has a network of contractors. We are just announcing in the next week or so a partnership with Metis or Mitsubishi Electric Train US, where their 5,000 plus Diamond certified contractors all over the US are going to be using Eli's platform to access and streamline incentives for their customers. We call this our OEM partnership model. And the basic idea is that we partner with an OEM or another network of contractors to enable them to integrate our technology into an existing lead generation platform or marketing platform. It could just be Salesforce, for example. But basically the idea is to pre-screen a project or a homeowner for incentives, figure out what incentives they're qualified for as efficiently as possible, and then hand those leads off to contractors. And then the second part of the partnership is that on the right here is that those contractors can then take those leads and run with them and do their own thing if they want, or they can opt in to have Eli help them manage the incentive process with their customers. So this means that sort of all of the contractors that are participating receive pre-qualified leads and a summary of all of the local, state, utility, and federal incentives that are available for the customer at no cost. And then if they choose to opt in to use our services themselves, they then get a sort of guided portal that helps them upload any documents needed. Think of it as like TurboTax for handling rebates for contractors, where it goes through every step of the process and consolidates, aggregates all of it across any available incentives, whether they're from the utility or from the state, doesn't matter. We help them pull all of that stuff together in one simple single workflow tool. And then lastly, they can get prepayment for the rebates where that's available through factoring. So since we're not able to do a live demo here today, I just kind of want to share a few screen grabs just to give you a sense of how the product works. What you're seeing here is what a customer might see if they were being pre-qualified for incentives. And so this is just a few screens here where a customer is going through a few questions. The important thing here is that what Eli does is takes all of the rules, the enormously complex rules of all available incentive programs, and aggregates them into a single rules engine so that when somebody is being asked a series of questions to qualify them for rebates, they're not just being asked every question under the sun. They're not being asked to fill out a really long, arduous form. They're being asked only the questions that will specifically qualify or pre-qualify them for the programs. in as few questions as possible. So these questions are dynamically generated based on the rules to get them to a summary of what they may qualify for this project, which they can then forward on to their contractor. So on the other side of this platform is the contractor interface, which you're looking at here, which is sort of a step-by-step going through the entire rebate process, but aggregating all of the available rebates into a single interface. So you can see all the way from qualifying the customer to submitting a reservation, installation, all of that. We're just providing them with a single place to gather all those documents, take the photos, things like where there are demand response requirements, such as in California, which I saw someone mention in the chat. We're going to help them make sure they understand those requirements, make sure that they're checking all those boxes. Essentially, think of it as like a dynamically generated checklist for each project. And then finally, settling funds. So I know it was kind of a lot. I wanted to stick to the time limit here, so I'm going to pause if there are any questions.
Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate that. Jeffrey Lang is asking if it's able to be translated, if the platform is able to be translated.
Yeah, so it's already translated into Spanish. So it's available in Spanish and English. We do support other languages for specific pieces of the platform. And I don't know how familiar folks are with software, but basically there's a sort of distinction between translating text and localizing software. In other words, like, are you actually going through the entire user experience and making sure that the buttons conform to the standards in another language? Like, are you literally translating it word for word, or are you actually going through and making it truly localized into different languages? So right now it's localized into Spanish and English and can be translated into any number of other languages. So for example, the consumer facing pieces where you're telling people, explaining the process of qualifying for a rebate, for example, can be easily translated into any language.
Perfect, thanks. Question I had is if you can, this seems like a major pain point, especially for contractors, where they're a lot of times being asked to, front a lot of money for incentives and then getting reimbursed who knows how long afterwards, hopefully quickly afterwards. That prepayment seems really exciting. Do you have any, specific anecdotes of a contractor who, before was, floating a lot of funding and then now send up the prepayment? Anything you can share with the group on how you're solving people's headaches?
Yeah. So we see a couple different flavors of contractors with regard to the prepayment. One really good use case for the prepayment is simply where you have a contractor that is just sort of too small to warrant getting their own line of credit or something like that to handle their cash flow challenge. And usually that in the folks we've worked with, these are folks who are doing dozens of these installations per month, not hundreds. The other piece is just that even if you can get access to pretty cheap capital to get a line of credit or something like that, if you're working across many different jurisdictions and different programs, most of these businesses don't like kind of having to manage the risk of the program failing to pay on their own, and they have a hard time keeping track of that. And so a big piece that we do is like, our whole job is to be the experts on making sure that the rebate is accurate, that you're getting exactly what you think you're getting and all of that. And so since we do that, we kind of take that headache off of their hands. So we have a large customer, for example, in Massachusetts, where they're big enough to have their own line of credit that could probably handle the cash flow problem, but they were getting very overwhelmed by trying to manage understanding the risk for all of the different programs that they were working with, and just wanted to offload that. And in our case, the cost of capital is pretty low because we're not actually lending money to the contractor. We're sort of buying the risk of the rebate from them. So all of our risk is in the rebate not being paid, not in the contractor in any way.
That makes sense. Yeah. Bob is asking, I think you mentioned this, but is there a way for a homeowner to get a sense of what rebates they may be eligible for in their jurisdiction?
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't have a better visual of this, but happy to show anyone a demo also if folks are interested after the call. So the homeowner experience, it depends on kind of where the homeowner is coming into the journey. So for example, if a contractor if the homeowner's already been reached and the contractor is having sort of essentially a sales conversation, we allow the contractor to send the homeowner a secure link via email where the homeowner can go through the pre-screening process. And this is important because what we found from contractors is that they don't like talking about income stuff with customers who are in a sales conversation. And so our tool enables our contractors to say, hey, there's some larger incentives available for folks who are income qualified. If you want to find out if you qualify for those, I can send you a link by email, or I can walk you through it here. But most of our contractors like being able to just have the person do it on their own. But yes, so our tool lays out all of the available rebates to the consumer. Depending on where they are in the journey, the numbers that they see may be ranges. For example, if it's just someone who's landed on a landing page and they're just putting in their address, we're going to give them a range because there's still a lot we need to know in order to give them a more precise rebate amount. But as that gets refined later in the project, we give very, very accurate rebate summaries to both the consumer and the contractor.
Perfect. Cool. Thanks so much. Well, this is exciting. Seems like it answers a lot of headaches in this whole rebate process for heat pump water heaters. So, Jeff, if you could put your email in the chat, that'd be great. So, folks, there it is online, and in the chat would be great too. And folks can reach out to you afterwards for that demo. But yeah. Thank you, Ton. Thanks, Ton, for being on. And yeah, congrats on the product, and excited to see where it goes.
Thanks.
Great. Thanks so much. Great. Well, I'd love to welcome Nate Jutras from Energy Star, their heat pump water heater lead, to close out our program today, talking about the long-awaited Energy Star Market Acceleration Guide. Nate.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to hand things over after I talk about the guide. And actually, Joe, let's see. Are you able to let me drop the link in and we can share?
I've got it pulled up, so I can share screen when you want me to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind just sharing, just pop and open the link.
Okay, the first one for the Energy Star Market Acceleration Guide.
Yeah.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and we'll probably skip the other one. I don't want to take us too far off topic. We can drop a link for people, but I think maybe next time we can talk about this tool and or not this tool, but the other link I shared, which is a new 2-pager for contractors. It's just best practices. It's just really quick. We just tried to tackle the issues we're seeing most mistakes with for contractors, particularly not allowing enough airspace. So I think that should be a useful tool. We're trying to get that out to utilities and distributors as much as we can. But just to talk quickly about the Market Acceleration Guide. So first, I want to emphasize this is a soft launch. So if Joe scrolls through it, you'll probably see some spelling errors. We have we provided a whole bunch of updates. They just haven't shown up yet on the newest version. I'll also mention that this is a living document. So we've been asked for like a PDF of it. I'm reluctant to do that. We've had PDF of old guides before, and it's amazing how quickly they get outdated. So it's important to us to try and keep this fresh with new case studies, new tools, new resources. The first, just overall, the format of the guide, and that actually be we're going to improve the navigation as well. So that's one of our updates. But the overall, if I wanted to give just like a elevator pitch to the guide, we're talking about 3 areas, 3 targets: addressing the first cost. Obviously, we know there's various ways to do that, but the old way of the mail-in rebates, we're strongly discourage that. it's fine to keep it, but you really need to disrupt the system and provide retail and distributor point of sale rebates. And so in addition to addressing cost, and there's other great case studies in there, including bulk purchases from the state of Maine. The next step is just building demand. And we're seeing that across the country is that, it's consumers that are primarily driving the market. They're asking for it. Contractors are sometimes saying, hey, why are we getting all of these calls now for heat pump water heaters? We never got them before. And we're like, well, there's these tax credits. They're like, oh, okay, well, that explains it. We're getting a lot more calls in, this area in Kansas City where we never got any before. But we can continue to build upon that. So yeah, educating consumers about those tax credits, but about the technology, demystifying it, addressing, a lot of those persistent misconceptions that people have and that contractors have. And then lastly, just engaging contractors and distributors, because they are really essential to that. So ensuring stocking practices, engaging with them on, if they're bowing out and they're saying, hey, we don't really want to participate in this program anymore. You want to avoid that. And there are ways to do that. And the most important thing is just continuing to have a line of communication open. Very often it can be something as simple as, hey, 6 weeks is too long for us to get a check from the utility company. We need the money sooner. So maybe just making a small change there. We're going to do a series of road shows, and we're just going to try and get the word out about this resource. One thing I'd like to do, and I think is more engaging, is to feature what not to do. I think some as well as what to do. So a little bit of storytelling. We'll try and avoid using names of when it's a what not to do unless we get permission to do so. But I think that's really helpful, particularly as when programs are just trying to use the past experience on what works in terms of market change, and they think, well, we'll just double the rebate and we'll get traction, and it's just, we all know in this group that it's just not that simple. So I'm going to hand things over to Grace Wofford with ICF, and she's got a quick deck on what we're going to, a little more on what we're going to do to get the market acceleration guide out. And I'll actually mention that Grace has also provided, or she's developed a survey that hopefully next week when we can share the updated guide. We have it online. We have a URL. We could share. We can drop it in for you. But we prefer that folks look at it next week, and there will be a survey to get your input on it. So we value that. And without saying any more, I'll hand it over to Grace.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, hi, everyone. My name's Grace Wofford. I'm here with ICF, and I support the Energy Star sales and marketing team. So I'm just going to give a quick high-level overview of some of the ways we're hoping to promote the guide and some of our goals. Let's see if I can get this for it. So here's just a quick snapshot of our overall promotion. Some of the core objectives that we're really trying to achieve here is just to facilitate some core feedback channels, because like Nate said, the purpose of this guide is it's really to engage all segments of the industry and how we can really propel market acceleration, overcome some of these barriers. And like Nate said, one of the ways we're going to do that is with getting feedback from all perspectives in the industry. And we'll share some more details on how to do that in the next week. But some of the core channels that we plan to use to promote the guide will include LinkedIn, a webinar series, and of course, email communications. And we'll kick this off at the beginning of September through October, but I'll just share a little bit more detail about some of these activities here. So for our webinar series, it really gives you the opportunity to learn more about the guide in detail, and it's broken up into 2 parts, and we'll provide some more details on the logistics of each of the sessions here. But each series will start off with an overview of the guide, what it is, and how to provide feedback, and some of the ways that you can leverage it. But I think each series will focus on hurdles and the program design details and insights and how they're relevant to each part of the value chain, and how you can leverage them. So it's really great if you can attend both. We're hoping that we can get everyone to attend both, but please stay tuned for email communications about opportunities to register for the webinar. We'll also be promoting registration on LinkedIn as well, so have some more details here on that. So again, we'll kick off some LinkedIn promotions starting in the beginning of September through October 31st. And we really encourage all of our partners and stakeholders to like and amplify our posts promoting the guide, highlighting some of the insights and opportunities to register for the webinar. And if you're interested in sharing your own posts about the guide, once we have a chance to sort of share it out with everybody and review it, we'd love to hear from you. So we have some of our contact information on the next slide here, I believe. So feel free to reach out and let us know, and we can coordinate and find a way to amplify your post to the Energy Star profile networks. And so that's it. Feel free to reach out to myself or Nick to learn more about upcoming details for the guide promotional period, and we are really excited to share more with you in the coming weeks.
Thanks so much, Grace. Appreciate that. And Nate, just a quick question from our end. Is the primary audience for the guide, utility programs? Is this, is it meant to help them?
Implementers. Yep.
Got it.
Implementers, utilities. Yep.
Fantastic. I also noticed you had the map in just a quick scan of the guide. How are you getting that granular state level data and showing heat pump water heater adoption?
NEA, we got some data from NEA for the Pacific Northwest. We surveyed some programs in New England, and I think most of the others are, there's some general assumptions, but I think I feel pretty confident about those numbers. It's a big enough range that I think there's the room for error is pretty small. I don't know if you wanted to pull it up. I think it's like 1% to 5%, which is, it's where there's not utility programs. We know just from talking to programs, hey, we did 20 heat pump water heaters last year. Oh, well, good. That's good. But you have 8 million customers. Yeah, so less than 5. I mean, you're talking the total. We know that market penetration on average is under 5 nationwide. So nothing surprising there. So it's just about finding those areas where it's risen above that mark, and we got good data from NEA. And notice this is the share of new electric water heater installations. So this is not necessarily fuel switching.
Right. Or
so
overall share. Yeah.
And I think we forget that, or parts of the country forget that there's a large, 40 to 50% of the country is using electric resistance water heating, or it has been on electric resistance water heating. So it's not a small subset to begin with.
Sure. Great. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Grace. Thanks, everyone. We are at time. There's a link to the guide there in the chat, and look forward to the getting word out about the upcoming webinars and doing deeper dives on the guide. I think we are at the top of the hour. So thanks everyone for being part of today's conversation. We will send out a recording probably later tomorrow, and we'll put it on our YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your week. Let us know if there are topics you want to hear about in the AWHI residential meeting, and we'll see you at the next one. We have an AWHI commercial meeting this Thursday. Let us know if you're not on that list and want to be. So thanks, everyone.